Welcome to the Juvenile Assessment Center. Most people call us the JAC. We're excited to celebrate our 20 years of serving youth and families in Douglas County. Since we started the JAC in 2003, we have served nearly 28,000 youth. The Juvenile Assessment Center is dedicated to improving the lives of youth by helping to strengthen and support children and families who are involved or at risk of becoming involved with the juvenile justice system. The JAC believes each youth should be supported based on individual risk and needs. Our end goal is to have a thriving community for all youth, and we do that by working one-on-one with each of them to prevent further law violations and empower them to know their potential. The Douglas County Attorney's Office refers most youth cases to the Juvenile Assessment Center for screening, assessment services, and diversion recommendations. Our team of assessment specialists then schedules interviews with the youth and families to determine their needs. Our tools and assessments are based on years of national research and best practices aimed at improving the lives of young people. We utilize processes tailored to each individual youth, including a follow-up plan to connect the youth to service providers in the community. All of our assessment processes aim to learn about the whole young person. For the process to work, we need to hear directly from the youth and their families regarding their unique needs and collaborate to determine what services and supports they could connect to for healthier outcomes. The information gained through our discussions with the families enables our specialists to make recommendations for diversion to the Douglas County Attorney. Diversion plans are individualized, specific to each youth, and based upon their assessment results. None of this work would be possible without the compassionate and empathetic staff who often relate to the stories of our young people.
So when I was a young person, I was in and out of foster care from the age of 2 till about 8, and then got adopted, and then went back into foster care at about age 13. And so I went into this line of work because of my passion for young people, to help them, to connect them to those resources, and not just being another person in their lives or the system. So that's what drives my passion, to work with families, and even at the most difficult times, there's something that you can always offer them. For whatever reason they're coming in, our focus isn't like on the law violation itself, but just getting to know that young person, because if I had had that back then, this type of support, if the JAC were there back then, I feel like my outcome would have been maybe more productive and not in and out of places that were system involved. Any amount of education that I've had doesn't even come close to like what these young people are teaching me still, and I take something from it every single day.
Well, first and foremost, congratulations to the Juvenile Assessment Center for serving the youth in our community for over 20 years. I was one of 3 people that helped create the model for the Juvenile Assessment Center. We started doing it back in about 2000, 2001, when we started looking at the number of youth that were going through juvenile court that we really felt could be diverted, and that we had to come up with a way to meet their needs sooner, at the same time holding them more accountable. Looked at 3 different assessment centers, spent a lot of time looking at our data, our research, our needs of kids, and came to the conclusion that we didn't really like any of their models, and we were going to create our own model for what our needs were based here in Douglas County. That's how the JAC came into being. So in 2003, the JAC opened its door, and it was designed, and is still designed, for youth that have law enforcement contact. And the whole concept is that the sooner we can hold youth accountable for that law enforcement contact and meet their needs earlier, the less likely they are to ever enter deeper into the juvenile justice system.
Over the past 20 years, our efforts have been driven by national experts such as the National Assessment Center Association, Georgetown University Center for Juvenile Justice Reform, the RFK Community Alliance, the National Youth and Screening Assessment Partners, and the Nebraska Center for Justice Research at UNO. The JAC operations are made possible through the steadfast support of the Douglas County Board of Commissioners and the Douglas County Attorney's Office. Through networks, partnerships, and collaborations with schools, law enforcement, and other agencies and service providers throughout the community, we are able to guide our youth to a better future. Our dedicated team of professionals make the JAC more than just a place. We truly make a difference. I cannot imagine a more dedicated, caring, compassionate, thoughtful, and committed group of people working together to help youth and families in any way possible. We hear directly from our families that the work we do every day makes a lasting impact.
I am so excited to be back at Douglas County working with the Juvenile Assessment Center into the future as we develop ways to meet the needs of our youth today and for the next 20 years.